Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll.
What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all so much for joining us here at Chad's Media for another episode of the Tyler Lennon Show. We have a very special guest with us here today, but first we want to say a quick word to our sponsors, Avco Roofing, The Beauty Parlor, and Realtor Lindsay Lee. Thank y'all so much for making all this possible. Like I said, we have a very special guest with us. We have Justin Haire. Justin, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, just working out.
Just working out. It's a summer, busy time for you right now, huh?
I guess you could say that. A little more relaxed, but it's pretty busy.
A little bit. So for anyone that doesn't know, obviously you're a former Sulphur Springs, it's crazy to say former, but a former Sulphur Springs Wildcat basketball player. Obviously you're going to DBU. Want to talk to you about all of that, but you have a very decorated kind of storied career here at Sulphur Springs, both in terms of the teams you were on, but also individual, numbers and awards and everything. Can you kind of just walk us through some of, the biggest moments and memories for you in your high school career?
I'd say probably one of my biggest moments is probably freshman year. I got to go to state with a very good team, best team in Sulphur Springs history. And that was after a loss of we got one guy who went to UNLV, Victor. He was at Incarnate Word, now he's at East Central, Oklahoma. And I don't know where Michael's at, but he did just win the National JUCO D1 Division national title. So we had 3 big pieces leave. So that was very concerning. Everyone's worried about what we're going to do. Well, Sip was like, "You're coming up with me." And I was like, I didn't want to. And I'll admit that, Sip. I didn't want to come over there because, we have X, 6'8", Dede, Cam. I'm a skinny, maybe 6'4" kid who's never played with guys that size.
Right.
But they ended up making me who I am today, and now I've got lasting friendships with guys who I would have never seen myself being friends with just because of their stature.
It is funny you mention that because at the time I think maybe from an outside looking in perspective it was like, oh, well, they lost guys. I don't know if they're going to be as good this year. And like you said, you go on to have the best year in school history. And you're actually part of, I would say, I've only been covering since you were in high school, but probably the top 2, top 3, all of the best teams in school history. How does that feel to be a part of that
Feels
big
good.
of a block of history for the program?
Feels really good because that's what I had a kid talking in one of our flex time periods, and I was sitting there listening, and I guess we set such a high standard for just winning and whatnot, and he was like, "Man, the basketball team didn't do that good this year. They went to the 3rd round." But in perspective,
right.
This year was the 3rd time. I didn't really realize, but that was the only 3rd time that a basketball team from our town has gone to the 3rd round in recent years.
To have set a bar so high that the 3rd round is like a down year, that's wild. And before kind of that group started, this wasn't really a basketball school. You know what I mean? If they would have made it to the 3rd round once, that'd have been huge.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about that, y'all kind of set the standard of that being a down year. I wanted to talk to you, like you said, been on all these great teams. You're coming into your senior year. One, I want to talk to you. You had already signed with DBU.
Yes, sir.
How big was that for you? Just knowing I can focus just on my year. I'm not having to worry about my future.
It was big because during the summer when I was playing, trying to get these offers, I knew DBU was in my corner, but I wasn't quite sure if they were seeing what they wanted.
Right.
And it was getting stressed because I was like, I've seen all these guys that I'm playing with that are my friends are getting offers and they're going big places. And I'm like, well, am I doing what I need to? Well, then what probably reassured me was one day in Austin, I was playing and I didn't do very well offensively, but I had a decently good defensive game and rebounding. Well, I was real upset going outside. And the Utah assistant coach texted me and told me, "Hey, you play the game right. You got to keep your head in it." And he goes, "You've got good things coming your way." So that's kind of what kept me in it. And then that's when I got the offer from St. Edwards, and then DBU offered. And that's the instant when I knew I was like, I want to be at DBU because
awesome.
I went and visited, felt like family. They were all close, very welcoming. All the guys were real nice, and when I played with them, it just fit.
I want to ask you, so like you said, you've already signed, you know where you're going. You come into the senior year, you'd been a part of all these great teams, playoff runs, but each year, you're kind of seeing an increased role. And coming into the senior year, you knew, okay, this isn't necessarily my team, but, I'm kind of playing that role and everything. How did you feel about taking on that role? And I also wanted to ask, you mentioned that summer game you were talking about, you didn't do a ton offensively, but you were doing everything else you needed to do. It felt like you had, I don't want to say a ton of games, but anytime it felt like you weren't having an offensive night, you did make up for it on the defensive end this year, it felt like.
Well, I knew my role, my junior year, we had Boo and LJ with us, so I knew Sip called us in and he had 3 leaders. It was me, Boo, and Kaysen. So at the time I saw Boo as our head leader, and I guess you could say me and Kaysen were second command or co-captains. But this year we had me, Kaysen, and Caleb, and so we're all kind of co-captains. I don't know who you would say was the top. I kind of yelled at people more, but That's just because I wanted to
but
win.
You're also the big. You're kind of on the back, the anchor of the defense and stuff. It is your job to do that.
But like as you said, like Kaysen, very very big glue guy for us. He never had really. He would hit the occasional three, get a good post hook in. But what he was in there for was rebounding and defense, and that's what he did. And he knew his role. And that's what made us so good this year, is because people understood their role and what they had to do to win. And that's why I'm so thankful for them, because they made, even being as like a captain or co-captain, it made it easier because we all knew what we were supposed to do. And that's what also took pressure off, because I knew if I wasn't going offensively, I could have Cordrick, Caleb.
Right.
Kaysen stepped up sometimes. Like, I mean, he had several 10-point games or more, double digits when I wasn't doing nothing.
That was something me and Grayson talked about a ton in our broadcast. Was Kaysen was a very efficient player, and it didn't always show in the box score or whatever, but like he was having those nights consistently. And like you said, there would be nights where he would have 10 points, or it felt like. It very much was a kind of whoever has the hot hand, it can, adjust and let, anyone can have the big night.
Yeah. That's what Kaysen was probably the best plus-minus guy we had.
Yeah, I think,
on the floor. He was the highest
yeah.
one, yeah. And that's what you need. You need a guy who'll go in and do his job and accept his role. You can't have the people trying to fight and bicker back and forth. And if you play as a team, you're going to be a whole lot better.
Oh, absolutely.
And then that's why we were a team full of leaders. We weren't just one captain like us three. Everyone could step up and lead at one point, and that's why we were so successful.
It definitely did feel that way, and I think for Coach Shaver, this being his first year in the program, it probably helped a ton to have those kind of guys. Especially in the early part of the season, maybe he doesn't know the team that well yet. Certain guys will step up, and I think that was huge for him.
Yeah. It definitely, I feel like it helped, but he came in and did a great job. Sip picked a great man to come in and help us. I'm very appreciative of that. Sip didn't leave us out left hanging to dry.
Right.
He knew what he was doing. He loved us. So he pulled in the guy that would also love us about the same.
Absolutely.
If not as the same. So we worked hard, and he pushed us. We pushed for him. We're all behind him. He was behind us. So it worked out real well.
Yeah, that could have been in another situation really tough. You have this coach that kind of builds this program, gets you to that point, and especially for you at being your senior year. Oh, we have this new coach. I mean, I think that went as well as it possibly could have. I mean, Shaver did a great job this year.
He did. He really did. And that's what he brought in, great guys to come help. Mass, Wells. I mean, they really pushed us. Wells had a background he coached at Laterno, so he knows what the college life is like. So he brought that in. Mass was a national champion at MACU and NAIA up in Oklahoma. So he knows what it takes to win. Shaver was a big-time player too. So, I mean, they all know what it takes to win, and at a high level too.
Right. Justin, real quick, a few more questions for you, but first we want to hear a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be right back with more.
At Avco Roofing, we strive to fulfill our mission statement of protecting homes, strengthening families, and building community. It's more than a slogan. It's the heartbeat of who we are and how we serve our customers. Located in Sulphur Springs near I-30 and Broadway, there's no project we can't handle. Call Avco Roofing for all your home and commercial property needs.
Hi, I'm Audra Clark, owner and stylist of The Beauty Parlor. We are located at 206 West Shannon Road in Sulphur Springs, Texas. We are Tony and Guy trained, and we specialize in custom cut and color. You're already beautiful. Come let us highlight it.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lee, realtor at Caldwell Banker Watson Company in Sulphur Springs. Born and raised in Hopkins County, I am the small town realtor you are looking for to help buy or sell your home. I specialize in farm and ranch, residential, and lake properties. Contact me today and let me do the work for you. Get your key with Lindsay Lee.
And we're back. Justin, so as we've mentioned, you're going to DBU. Former teammate and friend Cameron Kahn, he's there. And not only is he there, but he's doing really, really well. Came in as a freshman, was doing well, led the team in scoring last year. How much of a role did that play in your decision to go there?
It was big because I kind of knew I had a guy there. And me and Cam were always friends. We were always nice. Like, I would take me and Cam and Day-Day, we'd all go to summer games together because we all kind of played at the same place. So
right.
We'd take Cam and Day-Day with us, and we all became really close. And that's what my sophomore year, that's why I was like the sixth man, seventh man. They were the main two pieces, but they were a big part in why I am the post I am today, or the player you can say, and just being aggressive, going after rebounds and taking charges. I can thank Cam because Cam's a very good charge taker.
Right.
But he's really stepped it up. He's showing that he's one of the best players in SS history, along with Day-Day. And, I mean, we have multiple people who can show that, hey, SS is a powerhouse now. I guess you could say for people coming out. Some people won't see it that way, but we definitely have a lot of talent coming through here.
I mean,
It'll
you're
still be coming
putting your
through.
name in that conversation now as well.
And then so just to come in and hopefully even give a little bit of help like Cam did this past year it'll make me very happy.
Not only, someone that you already have a relationship with and chemistry with, but how much do you think it helps seeing like someone from here, they went there and they're doing really well? Is there that in the back of your head like, I can do well there as well? It's
kind of reassuring because I'm the oldest of my family. So I'm the first one to go off to college. And I'm just sitting there kind of like, will I be able to make it? Will it be this hard? Because I've seen videos of guys talking about how hard it is. Well, then I see Cam and he's thriving. So I'm like, maybe I'll be okay too, because Cam will be by my side and he'll help me through it. And
it almost goes back to the relationship you had in high school, because like you said, you were a couple years younger. You were kind of the 6th, 7th man of that team, kind of learning under him. I mean, you're almost kind of in a similar role anyway. Yeah. I do want to ask, very busy time of year and everything. Can you kind of tell us what your summer and the next few months are looking like, before you go to school and everything?
Well, I get a voluntary workout. We do weights Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'll go, and like the past few times I've been with Shaver and them doing skill work, and then I'll lift afterwards.
Yeah, I saw videos of you out there, and I was like, Justin's just out here putting in every amount of work he can.
I'm trying to, because I went on vacation last week, so I lost my shot, so I got to get it back. But that's what I'm trying to get better. I'll go see SIP on Wednesdays. I didn't get to this past Wednesday just because it was so busy and hectic, but I didn't get to go, so hopefully I can go next week and keep going and developing and just increasing my role, hopefully, at DBU.
What's the one or two things you think you're most looking forward to?
The experience. I would say the experience and just being able to play with that high level of talent.
Right. Final question for you, Justin. Again, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. We've covered what you're most looking forward to. What are you going to miss the most about being a Sulphur Springs Wildcat and everything?
The community. The community was always behind us. I mean, my teammates too. It was like a brotherhood almost. Everyone I've been around with, all the teams, all loved each other. There was never just someone who hated this guy or that guy. You might have beef in that little moment on the floor, but it was all over. Because Jay gave a speech the other day to the guys at the workout, and he was talking about how you can't let the stuff on the floor affect your relationships outside, which was a great speech, because that's how it was. We'd all I think Keyston one time, I can't remember, they had just got into it, and I was like, man, this is crazy. But then when we went in the locker room, everything was okay. And that kind of blew my mind as a freshman, thinking how can y'all just let it disperse like that? Because there was a whole big group argument, and Sip was all mad, and he kind of kicked us out, but they all came in the locker room together and solved it. So it was a very mind-blowing experience. But I
feel like you also had the community, within the team and program itself, but also, the fan and the actual community. I feel like always, they're always supporting, traveling well and everything. I feel like that, was huge for y'all as well.
Yes, they are a very big part. That's why we were so good at away games during the playoffs, because when you look and you see our side's full, and then you kind of look over and you can see the sporadic of the other team, and then still our fans are in that section too. It's it's like home court advantage almost. It's kind of crazy to think they're this much behind us that they want to be here and watch.
Right. Justin, dude, it was an honor to get to cover pretty much your entire high school career. We're obviously going to be keeping up with you now that you'll be, just like an hour down the road. And hopefully we'll be seeing you at some games, and maybe, I can kick Grayson out of the broadcast for a second. You can come take his spot for a quarter or something.
Maybe so. I wouldn't want to take Grayson's spot, though. He does a great job.
If anything, maybe you'll be taking my spot. Who knows? But Justin, again, dude, thank you so much for doing this. And, it's really been awesome to cover you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank y'all for watching. We have tons of content coming up for the rest of this month that I know you'll want to check out. So y'all stay tuned. We'll see y'all then.
Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedite.